the other day. He had his press conference for his Edwin De Los Santos fight. So they were interviewing Keyshawn Davis awfully a lot, from different medias and everything. And Keyshawn Davis, he got asked about Tank Davis, obviously. And Keyshawn Davis said that he wants to fight the winner of the Tank Davis and Lamont Roach rematch. And just look at it, man. Look at it. I ain't gonna lie. I like hearing this from Keyshawn. I ain't gonna lie. I like hearing this from Keyshawn as far as him saying that he wants to fight the winner. Because I feel like that's what he should be doing. You know what I'm saying? He's fighting a step up fight for his career, honestly, for as Edwin De Los Santos, even though there's a lot of talks about Edwin De Los Santos, people saying that, Edwin De Los Santos, he's been inactive. He ain't he had blood clot issues recently. He had issues recently, and he had an arm injury as well. So inactivity, blood clot issues, arm injury, and everything. A lot of people's believing that this is a cherry pick fight for Keyshawn Davis, and me, my personal opinion, I don't want to call this fight a cherry pick fight for him. I don't want to call it that, but I can't be naive to how Top Rank move. You know what I'm saying? Like Top Rank, they're infamous on their matchmaking, and like I said the other day, speaking about Keyshawn Davis and Abdullah Mason on the same card together. You know what I'm saying? And they're fighting two of Shakur Stevenson former ops that he had bad performances with. You know what I mean? I was like, hey, Keyshawn fighting daggone Edwin. You know what I'm saying? It's just business at the end of the day. I understand the business. Top Rank has the best matchmaking in boxing. So them putting this together, definitely not surprised. And they're trying to embarrass and shit on Shakur Stevenson. That's what the pretty just of it. That's what Top Rankers know. That's how they're doing. That's how they look at it. Even though, I've seen, you know, top ranked rec executives and things like, oh, they ain't about trying to mess up with Shakur and stuff, and then they gave Shakur excuses for Shakur and stuff on the Edwin fight and all of that. No, no, we don't want to hear all of that shit. We know what happened, nigga, and we know what y'all doing. Y'all trying to embarrass Shakur with having Edwin and Jeremiah Nakathila on his card fighting Keyshawn Davis and Abdullah Mason. And y'all, cause y'all know y'all know what them boys gonna do to them boys. Y'all know. You know what I'm saying? But I believe Keyshawn and Edwin should be a good fight, man. Hopefully, man. I really hope it's a good fight. I hope Edwin is game for the fight. I will say that for sure. But back to the topic at hand. Keyshawn Davis says that he wants to fight the winner of Lamont Roach and Tank Davis rematch, and I love it. I love it because, I mean, obviously, this is something that my boy, Knockout Boxing 86 TV, he reported a couple weeks ago, a little bit after the Tank Davis and Lamont Roach fight, where he was saying that he got word that Tank was going to call out Keyshawn Davis, and it leads to this topic right here. I like Keyshawn saying that he wants to win her because Tank already done reached out to Keyshawn about fighting last year. Keyshawn was on ESPN mentioning it, saying that, Tank Davis and PBC, they done reached out to me about fighting and stuff. So, and then, of course, Keyshawn, he's been going on his little interview tours and stuff, saying that Tank don't want to fight him and stuff like that. But the other day, he was in a different little set of mind, where he was in a decent, good, mindset the other day, to where, he comes out and says that he wants to fight the winner, was just, that's what he's supposed to say. That's what he's supposed to say. And you got to think about the history with PBC and Top Rank right now. They're working very close together right now with a lot of fights. This is a fight that they've talked about, behind the scenes on working on. So you can possibly see, if Keyshawn gets through Edwin and Tank gets through Lamont on in that rematch, you can see a unification fight possibly in the future. Maybe end of this year or early 2026 with Tank Davis and Keyshawn Davis possibly. That's what it's looking like. that everything is leading up to right now, honestly. And I know the other day I spoke about Keyshawn and Abdullah, but that situation with Keyshawn and Abdullah probably won't come about till like next year. So they ain't nothing right now in particular. But Top Rank, they're looking at it in a way that we're like, oh, we're building Abdullah up to where he gonna be fighting for that WBC or WBO strap, one of them straps soon. And we know who got them straps. Of course, Stevenson got the WBC, and Keyshawn Davis got the WBO. So, but back to what I was saying, for as Tank and Keyshawn, I think with both of them having fights in the summer, Keyshawn's fighting June 7th, Tank possibly fighting June 21st, and I'm gonna talk about that in a second. Both of these guys having fights in the summer can set these guys up to fight towards the end of the year or early 2026. And I want to see the fight for sure. I want to see Tank get all of his top ops out of the way. And Keyshawn is a top op, especially because he got one of them titles at 135. You know what I mean? And a lot of fans, they consider Keyshawn Davis as a threat to Tank Davis right now, especially after Tank Davis, lackluster performance with Lamar Roach. So we shall see. But I will say this. Keyshawn Davis get through Edwin, Tank Davis get through Lamont Roach in the rematch. Top ranked PBC, put the fight on, put it on. And you look at Keyshawn right now. Keyshawn, he trying to outdo Shakur in every way. He ain't going to admit it in public, but since he like shit, we ain't fighting, but I'm gonna outdo you in every way. You know what I'm saying? For as getting these big fights, getting the fights that I want. The bag, me main event on Top Rank. Like he outshining Shakur right now in every way, man. The performances as well, like he having great performances, better performances than Shakur Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? So but I'm looking forward to this. And this brings me to the topic of Tank Davis and Lamont Roach.